All right, hey, what is up, YouTube? How's everybody doing? It's that half-breed here, back with another great video, and today I'm officially doing it. I'm ranking all of the OP13 leaders, and since I finally found a deck builder that has most of the OP13 cards, I'm gonna give you guys a deck list as well for each of these lists. And I have had some gameplay with almost all of these lists, either by playing myself or through watching videos of lists that are very similar and actually like seeing physical gameplay of the cards interacting with one another and how it plays out. So again, there is more than just speculation in these assessments. I've went to some YouTube channels, I've watched the Japanese proxy channels, and this is my opinion after seeing real gameplay and having decent deck lists. All right, you guys ready? Because we're starting off controversial right from the start. Because at number 6, in my opinion, the worst leader and the worst deck in OP13, and that's Emu. I don't understand how anybody could even come close to thinking that Emu is going to create some kind of S tier format. Emu is fine. All of the cards are pretty balanced, to be honest, and it's about as good as Reiju. Like, if you've played with or against the Reiju leader, like, yeah, it's good. Cheating out some characters is good sometimes, but the combo is significantly less consistent than you would think. And in the metagame that we're in and in real life, when there's a lot of 6K and 7K leaders floating around, like, you just don't win the game if you just have a board full of 5Ks, right? And all of the characters are 5Ks, and one of the biggest weaknesses of the deck when it actually plays out are two main cards that are actually pretty nerfed. Firstly, Saint Shepherd Jupiter. He's the one that makes all of your 5 Elders 7K base power. It's 7K base power only on your turn. So that means they're all 5K on defense. That means if you're the blockers, they're just 5K blockers. You know, whatever you can attack with 7K, but they're all 5K on defense. And that just means is like your board is very, very fragile. And if you don't kill them immediately the turn after you play 5 Elders, then you're very far behind. And the fact that most of them are just like 5K for a decent portion of the game means that you don't really have that much threat on your opponent's leader. You still need to actually like attach Dawn to characters to make any actual reasonable attacks to get headway against a lot of these other leaders. And it just like doesn't work out that often. There's going to be some decks that you hose, and I seriously think this deck is just like as good as Reiju about. It's fine. And Empty Throne is also only your turn. So you're never 6K leader on defense. You're only ever 6K on offense. It really just it doesn't work out the way you want it to. It never does. And all of the characters are just a little too small. I think once people realize that the thing that you actually have to do is play the 5 Elders past turn and then attempt to have a turn where you untap with the 12K body, you attack with the 12K body, get like some decent attack in, actually kill something of a reasonable size, and then activate your leader to get a full board after. Because this thing of like, on my Tendon turn, I'm just going to play this 5 Elders card and get 5 bodies into play, that's just like not enough to win you the game. It just isn't. Because no opponent's really scared of a whole bunch of 5Ks. If you just do that, you're going to have 5 characters, 4 of which you weren't able to attack with, and your opponent's just going to use whatever they already have on the board to like force you to block and lose your whole board. Number 5, we have Monkey D. Luffy. Now, I was honestly like, this is the one where I really like not sure. It could be so much better than I think, but it's like less straightforward powerful, but it's still doing a powerful thing. Like, and that powerful thing is staying healthy and then playing Zoro at a high life total. Like, if you just do those two things, you win way more games than you would expect. Just because, like, 9-drop Zoro is so insanely powerful, and the way you can defend your board after it resolves is so huge. And all these mid-range characters are just all there to, like, defend your board early and, like, defend your life total early, like, forcing your opponent to attack this other stuff. And that way you can really punch them to death with your 2 secret rares. It's either Zoro or the Luffy, the double striking Luffy. And the way it works with, like, your leader being able to defend both of these characters on defense and also make it so that they can't blitz you down, it's a little bit like Bonnie, but almost is like a slightly different version of a Bonnie deck. In reality, it feels like. And all these, like, cheap straw hats in the middle are just really nice. Untaps a Dawn, untaps 2 Dawn, untaps 2 Dawn, untaps 2 Dawn, untaps 4 Dawn. And I'll have to see more how this deck actually plays out, because most of these cards we don't actually have on the sim. So this is definitely the deck that I've played the least. But it is, I think, way more powerful than people are giving it credit for. Okay, at number 4, we have Gold Roger. I really think everybody is, like, severely misunderstanding the power level, and that, like, leaders actually need good cards in the deck to be good. And if you don't have good cards, like, it almost doesn't matter how good the leader is. So Gold Roger, people are just vastly overestimating the strength of a 7k leader. Like, 7k leaders already exist. There's already multiple decks that can achieve 7k leader by some form or other, right? And even 6k, like, the difference between 6k and 7k is not that big in real life. And, like, being a bigger leader is only good early. And Roger is never 7k early, right? He's only 7k late. And by the time he is a 7k leader, your opponent's already going to have stuff in play. We can't just pretend that while we're doing all this ramp stuff, our opponent's just going to do actually nothing. Right? Like, you have to play games against people actually casting spells and putting characters onto the battlefield. And when they do that, and all you're doing is playing these really small, kind of sucky rampers in the early game, you're gonna get overrun, and you're just gonna be like, aha, I'm finally 7k. And they're gonna be like, okay, attack with my 10-12. And you're still gonna die, right? And the way the 10-drop Roger is worded just makes life really awkward for the Roger deck so many times. The fact that you cannot chain 2 together, and there's just basically no way to make it so that you play 2 Rogers in a row, really does do the deck a lot of disservice. It might have been too oppressive if it was possible to just chain 2 or 3 of these in a row. But because you can't, it just leaves this giant opening for you to die. Because Roger will make sure you live one more turn, but often after that one more turn, you do still die. So the fact that it turns off all abilities of non-Roger pirates is actually just a significant downside that you need to kind of be aware of and play around. And it's why the deck kind of is almost forced to be all Roger pirates or nothing. There might be a version of the list that is playing 0 Roger pirates or whatever, or not playing the 10-drop at all and just trying to do, like, other stuff and maybe ramping with normal cards. But the way it currently is, it's still a little fragile for my liking. That's why I think you need all of the blockers, both the Odin and the Rayleigh. But just be aware that, again, your opponent is going to play characters, and they are going to be attacking you. And you need to make sure you have an idea of how to not die. And you can't just, like, point to 7k leader and, like, that's how I'm not going to die. I'm 7k leader. The metagame right now will just ignore that and kill you. 7k leader is not that scary. And then number 3, we have Bonnie. This is one of the decks where I really like it, but the more I played it myself and the more I saw it played in other matchup, I was really like, okay, it doesn't quite work out the way you want it to all that often. And especially like when you pair it up against number 1 and number 2 on the list, the other 2 leaders, it's kind of rough. Sorry, so my biggest issue right now is it felt like the deck needed another 3-drop. So you might have to play a version of the deck that's playing the Lilith, the Egghead Searcher. Plus that gives you another way to find the 9-drop Jewelry Bonnie. Because it definitely felt like the deck has a really great aggressive start. But then if you can't find the 9-10, you kind of can run out of gas. The 9-10 is so crazy strong, though. The 9-10 Bonnie, it is absurd how good that card is. 9-10 Rush, that also makes them lose a life, is so nutty. And they can often like beat the first one, but if you have 2, the game is almost always over by the time the second one hits. But it's just still crazy to me that the other 2 decks, I think, are more powerful even than this one. And like at number 2, I think we have Sabo. And Sabo is just so good, man. Sabo is just like a ball of stats, man. All of the stats on these cards and all of the numbers on these cards are just so pushed. And the fact that it has 5 life, you really, really feel it. The early game doesn't matter. You don't have that much pressure on your opponent's life because you'll be 4 life during your turn for quite a while. But when you go down, it's just so easy to win the game. And this stage is one of the cards that really puts this deck into overdrive. If you hit the stage, it's just so easy to go 8 cost character into 8 cost character into, you know, dragon reanimate a 8 cost character. And by 8 cost, I mean like this Karasu or this hack, right? Like, and you get 4 stage and more searchers on top of that. So you just always hit. You always hit, and then you play an 8-9 that gets a 6-8 blocker from your graveyard. It's just such big numbers, and you're a 6k leader. It's just like the opponent is on such a clock because you just know that dragon into dragon is coming. Either it's going to be this dragon reanimating something, then, you know, you have a full board over the course of 2 turns, or it's this dragon followed by this rush dragon to beat you down in the face. And it might honestly be correct to like play a little bit less of this dragon and to play some more Waxing Fist, because this card's so good at keeping you alive too. And like, dude, I was trying to play games, and killing these characters that just turn themselves into 8 costs is so difficult for so many decks. The yellow decks right now don't have a good way to deal with these cards. The green decks don't really have a good way to deal with these cards. They can like rest them and attack into it, but if that doesn't work, there's no other way. I mean, like Zoro is the only deck that has cards that can actually rest these, right? With the original cost resters of Tashigi and Kuina. And then black has a really hard time killing these characters too, because they're 8 costs, right? And it's like, oh man. This deck is so much better than it looks. I cannot explain to you how much better than it looks it is. Like, +1 to all of your characters on both turns is so nasty. This being a 5/7 basically. This is a 5/7 that makes them discard on swing. This is a 4/6 blocker. This is a 6/8 blocker that also gives you Arrested Dawn. You know, this is a 8/10 rush. This is a 8/9 that gets another character. The +1 to everything is just so huge. And it's on both turns. Like, this deck might be number 1, but I'll explain to you why I think it's like slightly worse. And that's because number 1, I feel like, has to be Ace, man. This Ace is so pushed. And it's not even the leader, it's just the cards around it that are really, really, really good. Like, the Marco blocker on KO, draw 2, combines with the leader to draw you 3 cards. The Yamato that also draws 2, and then when it dies, draws you another card. You have the hard to remove ace that has rush. And this 10-drop, man. Don't get me started about this 10-drop. This 10-drop's so insane. Once you have one of these in play, it's so hard to die. 10-12 blockers are just, like... I feel like there's some decks, if I could play a 10-12 blocker, even if it had no other text, I would seriously consider it. And this has other text, man. This has other really good text. 2 Dawn on your leader and on another character. That means, you know, you attack at bare minimum. You can like attack with a little searcher or something. Or, you know, most of the time you're going to be attaching 2 Dawn to this new gate. Then you KO something on attack. And Flame Emperor is just really, really good in the metagame right now too. With how many characters, like with the introduction of these new cost increase characters, and with, I don't know, just a lot of the way the stats line up, right? Like, even against Green Purple that has the cost increases on the Jack Atling Luffy and Sanji Pudding, this just lines up really well in killing almost everything. Right? Sanji Pudding, the Jack Atling Luffy, kills Mihawk, like whatever you want. It kills the new 6/8 Sabo, right? Literally this Sabo that you're gonna start seeing everywhere. It's just so good at sniping whatever they played on 5 or 6, and then getting you a really nice 8 or 9k double striking attack. And it just kills the opponent so fast. Killing their best guy and then hitting them with double strike is so good. And then you follow it up with like this giant blocker. And the deck's so consistent too, with double searcher plus double draw 2 plus a leader that lets you draw a bunch anyway. And then to top it all off, they spoiled a Diable Jambe. So it's 1 cost and you rest 1 Dawn. If you're at 1 or less life, your leader cannot be blocked this turn. And then it also has counter, give +3 to your leader. So this just guarantees that like your Flame Emperor puts them to 0, and then you have this. If I give into the force, there'll be no point to my life. Whatever that means. Dude, the event names are so long for no reason. But I have been consistently impressed with this deck, and the reason why I put it at number 1 even is because like I don't even know for sure if this is the best deck list. There's like a bunch of different ways that you could build the ace deck and still have success. Like I've seen a lot of people run a significantly more aggressive version that's playing like the EBO2 Yamato that has rush and lets you give Arrested Dawn every turn. You know, people play like the Rush Luffy, either the secret rare Snake Man Luffy, or just the ST21 Rush Luffy that gives Arrested Dawn to something. So you could build like a super aggressive version with a bunch of rush characters. You could build a more removal version with like Ben Beckman to add to your Flame Emperors and Otamas and Fire Fists and stuff like that. There's still a lot of different ways that you could build this deck and have success. But Sabo, I feel like this is the best list. Like, you could change maybe 4 cards from here, but most of the cards that you're going to be playing are kind of predetermined. Like, you just want to play the Revolutionary Army package. You want to play Dragon. It's the best card you could possibly be playing. So because you have to play this card, you have to play these cards, and then you have to play this card, and you have to play, you know, this card. So there's a much less wiggle room in this deck, but this is really like, there's so much room for it to bloom and for someone to find the best ace deck, or maybe even just the best ace deck for the day, right? Yeah, Exactly, because there's even like the new Vista. I've seriously been torn about whether you should play the Jozu or the Vista, or maybe have a split. So they spoiled a new Vista. It's a 6-cost, 8,000 power double striker. And the crazy thing is, if it would be KO'd, the first time it would be KO'd or removed from the field by an effect, you can discard a Whitebeard character instead. It like has super protection because it's KO'd in battle or removed from the field by an effect. So it's like everything possible that could happen to it, you can save it. Can't be bounced, can't be bottom decked, can't be, you know, rested and attacked into. Can't do anything. So I just was a little scared of having too many counterless cards in the deck, but you could definitely play that. That's like the big downside of the Vista. It doesn't have counter. But there's still a bunch of ways to build this deck. This is like a more defensive version and with the, like a lot of the top end, right? I'm playing Jozu as a removal spell, and I feel like you should always play 4 copies of this 10-drop. It's so pushed. But yeah, I mean, that's my list right now. I know it's super controversial that I don't think Emu is very good, and I don't think Roger is that good either. Like, they're just fine. The real stars of the show are going to be these two brothers, Ace and Sabo, to me. They're like just insanely powerful leaders in the text box, and they have a whole list of really insanely powerful cards attached to them. And Roger is a good leader for sure, but he's pretty much only gotten ramp cards and this one 10-drop. Like, if there was some other really good 8 or 9-drop that you could play after this gold Roger, it would be nice. But currently you're stuck just playing one of these Rayleighs, which are fine, but like not... It's not there. It's not there when other people are doing, like, you know, this dragon. You know? If it just doesn't work out, man. They play Gold Roger. I already have a dragon and a Sabo in play. Okay, I can't attack for this one turn. I just get another dragon and another Sabo. Now I have, you know, I have 2 8Ks, 2 9Ks, and a 6K leader. And unless he kills me right away with this 10-drop, like the second the -2 to my board comes down, you're just going to eat 1,000,000 damage to the face. Right? A million 9Ks that you have to counter out of. So, yeah. Anyway, you guys can agree with me. You can disagree with me. Hit me with all your, oh my god, you're so wrong. All the hating and all the glazing you want to do. But either way, you know, like, comment, subscribe. I'm definitely going to be playing all of these decks as soon as they get on the sim. I'll see. But if I get to say I told you so, you're going to hear it. You best believe that some I told you so's will also be coming. So thanks again, everybody. And I'll see you guys next video.